This is Brennan Decima, owner of Decima Wealth Consulting. If you watched our video earlier this week or read any of our newsletters around target date funds, we talked about how being on autopilot and a single fund solution is not necessarily the best option as your life changes and evolves. The target date fund could care less about major market swings. It could care less if you become more or less risk averse in life. It doesn't care about your tax situation or your withdrawal needs. So target date funds are very popular. They're the default option for millions of people because their employer put them in it. But the point was that it might not be the best option. Now, from that video, I had a lot of people reach out, and the conversations were almost all performance related. Either very negatively discussing performance of target date funds or talking about, what can we do to perform better than target date funds? So I want to just take a moment to address that. Performance is incredibly important. Being efficient, getting the most return for the least amount of risk, to me, is the ideal situation in retirement. But there's a time and a place for chasing returns and being solely focused on performance. So if you think about your working career, I would think about that like preparing for a big race. You put a lot of time, effort, and discipline getting ready for that race, building up to the starting line, building up to, hey, let's take all of that time, effort, and discipline and execute it in the race. But right before that race, you don't really see people going all out sprinting and doing, max 40-meter dashes or max 400s. They may loosen up a little bit, but it really doesn't do them any good. Nothing changes on that final sprint before the starting line that can take the place of, months and months of training. And retirement is the same way. If you chase performance leading into retirement, maybe it works out for you, but the benefit, there's more detriment than benefit to chasing returns. So when I think about performance in retirement, I think a retirement plan and an investment strategy in retirement, it's more important to focus on your situation. What needs you have. So what is your withdrawal need? What is your protection bucket? What is your tax situation? What is the optimal liquidity needs? And then once we solve for all that, then we can decide how much risk we want to take with the growth bucket. But a really good example of this was my son was born 5 years ago, January of 2020. And within a few weeks, I decided to go out and buy a Porsche. And my sole focus was performance. I want something really fast and really fun to drive. I didn't care about whether or not the car seat could fit in. I didn't care about safety. I didn't care about trunk space. I didn't care about vomit or blowouts in the back seat. And yes, the car performed really well. It was really fast, but it made absolutely no sense for me at that stage of my life. So that car lasted less than a year. I had to get rid of it. We needed something that was a family car. Fast forward to this week, my wife needed a new car. And we could have went into the dealership and just said, give us the best performing car. We want the fastest car on the lot, high performance. We want to get to where we're going as quickly as possible. But that's not what we did. We said that, hey, safety is really important. Trunk space is really important. We want a third row. We want something that can fit 2 kids, but isn't so high that it's a strain to get the car seats in and out every time. I need leg room in the front. So we had all of these features for our current phase in life. Now, none of those matter if we're not able to drive the car and go forward. So driving and speed is still important as long as those features align with our lifestyle. And retirement is the same way. So I'm not saying give up performance, ignore performance, but it shouldn't be the sole factor in decisions in retirement because, you can go throw everything on red in Vegas and double your money in seconds. That's great performance. Doesn't mean it makes sense for your family and for your nest egg. So I just wanted to take a moment to touch on performance because I've been getting a lot of outreach and a lot of questions about performance for some reason with target date funds. So I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and hopefully this was helpful.